Junior, and welcome to First Take on Joy 99.7 FM. There's a little corner here where you get to hear from the Joy Sports team and our friends from, our media friends. We'll go through the issues, what we have seen this week, and we'll try to put some interesting perspectives on that. And a wonderful opportunity for you to send us your messages as we chill out this Friday, talking sports. Easy style for you to, flow with us here. So we've seen a whole lot, especially today. The RFA elections. In fact, we've called it GFA Decides 2019. That's the hashtag on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. And of course, here at Joy Sports, we have a big part to play when it comes to the coverage of the 2019 Ghana Football Association elections. And wow, we got off to a wonderful start today with the Regional Football Association elections. We're bringing you all the stories, interesting stories. I remember a week, or some 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, when Gary was telling us about elections for covered boy when he was in class 5. Someone took the voice out, gave them some food to eat, and yeah, it worked out. It looked like the same thing happened today somewhere in the Ashanti region. So we talk about all those issues. We're going to be talking about the sports ministry. They seem to be owing everybody in Ghana. I mean, everybody respect to sports. Look. The athletes who represented Ghana at the World IWF Championships are still chasing their monies. We know that the local Black Stars, or the Black Stars B, who are supposed to play against Burkina Faso on Sunday to try and qualify for CHAN 2020, they almost went for a demonstration out there because they hadn't received their monies. The under-23 national team, the Black Meteors, they're looking to qualify, to the Olympics for the first time since 2004. They are also looking for their monies they used to buy the air tickets to come. So we'll get onto that as well. A little bit on the University of Ghana Athletics, and then we'll talk about what we saw, in the world of football in Europe. We've got some special games to come. It's Manchester United versus Liverpool, but I must tell you that the edition of the show, therefore, is called the Okukuseku. 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 I've never introduced it.
Okukuseku edition. Okukuseku. You know where the word comes from?
Where does it come from?
I don't even know.
Okay, relax. Okay, so on this note, let me introduce the guys in the studio to do the analysis with me. Hans Mensah.
Don't even worry.
Hans Mensah. Introduce yourself.
Go across the 10 regions of Ghana, Charlie George. People make lem. You know lem.
Lem.
When they say lem, when they say you have make lem, you know lem.
Charlie.
I'm red.
Hans, how can you walk into the elections with 12 delegates?
Yeah.
They accompanied you to the election room, and you ended up with only 2 votes.
Okukuseku sums it all up. Fear human being. Not delegate. I will even bring it down to delegate.
You don't bring delegate.
Fear human being.
Human being.
The Pabewa no front to ma.
Jesus Christ.
Charlie.
Jesus Christ.
George.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, people are not people.
Another relax.
People are not.
That is Hans Mensah Ando. He'll be on the show. Of course, Jesse Amponsa, the prof. How you doing, man?
I'm not feeling too well.
What's happening to you?
Why lem?
Your candidate lost?
Yeah, my candidate, one of the people I supported lost.
Oh, who is that? Is he in safe condition at the moment?
I don't know what has happened to him. I don't know. My candidate, Charlie, the way we organize McDan tournament or these people,
your personal person, your own man.
I follow him too. I like his analysis and everything. But Charlie, like they say, Charlie Okuku Seku Nipa Huyehu. So that be the whole story.
But see, beyond Okuku Seku Nipa Huyehu,
what's there?
They say impending event cast a very large shadow.
Enter me see. Are you?
See, this one is shock. You know, before a volcano erupts.
Yes.
There are tremors.
I don't remind me of my physical geography. I don't like that.
Okay. So this one is really a tremor.
Yeah.
The real volcano. Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, you
the real volcano will erupt a week by now.
That's if everything is fine.
By the time we convene here,
we are talking about a lot of
things. You know, I'm on this platform with Sanida. Now Sanida has decided to buy ambulance. Two of them. In fact, he says now what happened with the RFA elections. Now he intends to buy more. So that they'll go and pack it at.
I think that if you're a businessman listening to us, it's a very, very nice business opportunity. See, it's simple. If you have money, get 2 or 3 ambulance. On Friday,
but
go to where the Ghana people are.
So where are they going to organize it? The conference, where is it? Physicians.
Yes.
But the surgeons are there, so they can work now.
Don't worry, maybe
there are some of them who are doing their postgraduate.
It's possible there will be referrals to Kolebu and other places. You need ambulance to carry them there.
But
so business opportunity.
Okay.
Get ambulance, go and put it there. Get all the candidates. Get them to sign. Agreements that capture them. Look, they sign in the event that I collapse. You are the one to carry me to court.
Hey guys, you know what? So Hans Sanders here, Jesse and Postas here. We'll also have Benedict who's joining us shortly in the studio as we get to do the analysis. Remember, you can send us your messages on the line 0244-340437. So how are you feeling tonight? Let's hear from you, and then we need to get a whole lot coming through. So yeah, on the show, so much more to come here as we go through the issues for you, as we were. But Charlie, there's some bites that Charlie. No.
We're coming also. Assurance on my name say about 40. We're coming also. Assurance on my name say about 40. Yes. Because they are delegates. This morning we saw that they are only a pound because they have to go to a certain place. They went, and when they went, they told they were fed with Awachi, and that's all. So a delegate there, Maka just say you cannot predict them. Don't look at the faces that determine somebody are winning. As I said, they have their different way of behaving. This is all my omo ye delegate enti undi va won to mo so dia wo ka wo ka sa bache no bi kito bitimi dan na dwene we come now so assurance on my name say about 40. We come now so assurance on my name say about 40. Yes, because they are delegates. This morning we saw that they are only a pound so because they have to go to a certain place. They went, and when they went, they told they were fed with Awachi, and that's all. So a delegate there, Maka just say you cannot predict them. Don't look at the faces that determine somebody are winning. As I said, they have their different way of behaving. This is all my only a delegate. Until undi va won to mo so. Okay
guys, I think we need to just start it. Let's get into it.
Why is he trying to say that the Wate then now everybody going into an election. Please, the advice is simple.
Don't eat.
No, it's not that don't eat. The advice is simple. If you want to win, buy Wache. It's very simple. Okay. If you want to win, buy Wache.
The content of the Wache, I think.
I think you nailed it. Yeah. But relax. The man was trying to belittle Wache, and that I don't agree. Bibi Kitwa, it means Wache Kitwa.
Yeah, Wache already.
Wache is not Bibi Kitwa. There is the power of Wache.
Okay, and this one is not Wache. Yeah, this one is not Wache.
Which one?
This one Benedict taught me. This one is Awache.
Awache is for those in Kumasi.
Yes, so it's a different level.
Okay.
I beg, don't say it like that.
Oh, please.
Awache.
Those in Kumasi how?
Awache is that's where they say Awache. In Accra, we don't say Awache.
You say Wache.
We say Wache.
No, yeah.
Benedict,
are you okay?
Relax.
But do you know the secret? Do you know something that Benedict told me? He says, as for him an election, no, he they like appointment.
Oh yeah.
Also on standing election.
Benedict, let me pose a question.
See.
Let me pose a question.
When I was in primary, we were made to take papers and pen. Mm-hmm. The teacher was like, you know what, today this is what we are going to do. So I need all of you to write whatever you want to be in future on the paper. Mm-hmm. So there was this tall guy behind me. Then I wrote President of Ghana. The guy looked at me and said, Umwadi, small boy. You want to be president? Change it all.
And be what the vice?
So no, he said I should change it and write journalist. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's how you are here today.
And you know, the very first time he saw me on TV, he called me and was like, "Hey, you remember something like this happened?" I said, "Yeah." So Charlie, you know, the main point is that
Do you have the guy's number?
Oh yeah, I still have his number.
Maybe you should call some of the candidates and advise them on a career path.
So as for
so that they change their mind.
The guy should set up a church, maybe.
Probably.
And me, elections. You have no idea.
You are scared.
I said primary. We're looking for cardboard. Cardboard crowd.
Those stories, eh?
Is it cardboard professor?
Cardboard boy.
And also bell boy. And that one was selection. Charlie, when my name came up, you have no idea.
No idea.
Are you worried? Are you worried?
I am.
For some people, eh?
Hey, Charlie, the way things are going.
You have some
name names.
The way things are going, Charlie. If you can enter a room with 12 people, all behind you shouting, chairman,
your name.
when we need chairman Bakope, you end up getting 2.
You know what it reminds me
See,
of?
people are calculating the number of votes they are going to get. Fair enough, you can do it, but Charlie, here delegate
you know what? You know what it reminds me of? Have you heard the movie Braveheart? There's a scene in the movie where they go to war. William Wallace goes to war with, I think, some Scottish rebels, and they had planned everything, the strategy, and you know there was a point in the war where the cavalry were supposed to join in the battle and then increase their numbers and boost their chances of winning. So he was supposed to give them a sign. He waves a flag, and then they join in. Guess what? He waved the flag. They saw him, and they all turned around and left William Wallace. This is exactly what played out there. For you to enter a room with 40 people, 40.
Yeah, I think that's.
And then you had how many votes?
Charlie, let me make this point. Now, I think that aside all the laughter and everything, just to make the point.
George, don't make the point. Let's laugh.
No, yes, just
what's the point?
Forget the point and let's laugh.
Benedict, just to make the point. Kotoro's watching. We have to send it to the Kotoro's watching he provided.
Chairman Kotoro.
We have to send it to Foods and Drugs.
No.
Chairman Kotoro, sharp guy.
And then Ghana Standard Authority too.
That is what I'm talking about.
Must have a look at that food. Examine it properly.
The watch is not normal watching.
It's not
the watching that has changed.
If what can change delegates.
But you see, George, one lesson in all of this
is what?
It's not the number of people you are working with. It's the number of people working with you.
Amen.
You understand?
Amen.
You can be working with people who are not working with you.
No, this one is a preaching message.
Oh yes, of course. You can be working with people, but in reality,
I can see you are in the spirit.
Go to Circuit Tito. A lot of people working side by side.
Yes.
Are they working together?
They're not
Everybody is going his way.
Let's paint the picture. The Ashanti Regional, Football Association election. Let's paint the picture. Let me go back to the voice. It's an important one. Benedict, let's paint the picture. It was Insian who was complaining. His referee retired. Insian was complaining about a sudden change in the minds of the delegates because he expected them. According to him, he expected 40 at least. So tell me the story.
Normally, what happens in these elections is, it's just delegates, and these are people you are familiar with. It's not like it's a general election where people are somewhere that they are going to vote. You don't know them. You have to reach them via radio and via TV. There are some people somewhere that Nanado possibly do not know them, and of course, it's not every Ghanaian no, it's not even about who votes. It's not every Ghanaian that Nanado will know.
Okay.
For instance, as I stand here, I'm not sure he knows me. What if I voted for him? You understand?
Yes.
But with this community, it's a very small community, and these are people that you know very well. People that they are in your space every time. You go to the stadium on Sundays to watch games. You see them every day. You go for funerals together. These are people that you at times even eat with. You understand? So speaking to people like that and getting a fair idea of whether they are going to vote for you or not is very possible for you to know. That's why a candidate can say, I'll get 80 votes, because the community is very small, 120 people. You can literally go to all of them and speak to them. You understand? Not the individuals, but the clubs. So for instance, the 16 Premier League clubs, and all their representatives. Even before the delegates list came out, I'm sure they would have gone to the club owners, they would have gone to some of the administrators, the possible people that you might think will vote, and speak to them. So the point I'm making is that it's a small community, and referee Insia, of course, retired referee Insia had done his homework, has spoken to all these people, and definitely they would have promised him or tell him that.
Yes, because he said he had spoken to them, he expected 40 votes. They had assured him of 40 votes.
They would have given him, their word. and say, oh, don't worry, cry. You know how it always happens. Oh, Charlie, can't worry, cry. We go do one for you. You understand? And you always have to be very afraid of people like that when they come to you. Me, I always want to be frank, because recently there was an election that one guy approached me, swag election. I told him point blank, like, Charlie, what is it that you are going to do that you want me to vote for you? You've not been able to convince me. So, but to lie to the person and tell him that, oh, Charlie, don't worry, that one, false hope. You give the person that hope, thinking that, oh, he has counted you, oh, Benedict is going to vote for me, and at the end of the day, he goes in there and he gets one vote. That one vote came from him. So I will be like, but this guy too disappointed me. And that one, maybe next time when he sees me, we'll even know. So
do you remember this one where was it 92? Yeah, 92.
I want to before you get there. I want to introduce my voice.
Yeah. So the point I'm making is,
at the end of the day, Kotoro won.
Yeah, he won.
No,
and
the name is Chairman Kotoro. The chairman is very, very important. Chairman Kotoro.
We are sorry, but that's how elections are. So people promise, they will tell you. But at the end of the day, when they get watching to it, they will change their mind.
So we had to find out what went wrong, because if you're expecting 40 votes at least and you didn't get anywhere close, something went wrong. Referee Chad Insia.
So assurance on my name say ebe cause 40. We come now so assurance on my name say ebe cause 40. Yes. Because they are delegates. This morning we saw that they are only pound to show, because they have to go to a certain place. They went, and when they went, told they were fed with watching, and that's all. So a delegate there, I can't say you cannot predict them. Don't look at the faces that determine somebody will win. As I said, they have their different way of behaving. Until this is all my delegates. Until only one to so they all can visit us about no the big to me than adwene.
Yes. You mean
so that's the official reason. I mean, he's gone through his campaign team has realized that it's the watch it that caused that made the difference.
Well, that is why you must always camp the 40 people and make sure that nobody comes.
You keep them at home or you keep them in a hotel.
Whatever it is, however you camp them.
No contact at all.
To make sure that nobody comes to go and give them watch it. Now you remember Kanwe.
Yes.
So now, as for Ghanaian food, which one is good? Now, wache is causing people to not
special
to vote.
Special awache.
And then Kanwe is causing somebody to lose a fight and all that. But look, hey, it's an election. I think that for me, the most important thing is that the delegates would always know who. And this is an important lesson, that for elections like this, delegates will know who they want to vote for. And especially when you go into an election like this with the FA and then they seem to be insulting somebody, be careful. Because that person they are insulting, he's the person they like. Kotoro crowd buy on your watch do free 2005 Watrana says yan tumano Kotoro buy on your also matomano.
Yeah.
So the one that they are always insulting
could be the one they end up voting for.
Absolutely.
But I think fundamentally the question we should be asking is whether the delegate voted based on the ideas that the various candidates threw up.
So it will bring the manifesto discussion. Last week I said it's a purely academic exercise. People didn't
vote based on the issues. They didn't listen to the candidates, or they voted because somebody bought somebody watching. If their reasons for voting is the latter, then I'm sorry, but the entire normalization exercise has been an absolute waste. I'm saying, if the delegates didn't vote on the ideas presented to them by the delegates, but they voted because somebody bought somebody watching, by watching, I'm extending it. Somebody gave somebody something, or somebody. I'm sure you understand what I mean, and I know listeners understand what you're talking about. Then, the entire normalization process has been an absolute waste of time, because then it's business as usual. I've said it time and again that we say we are in a normalization period. We say we are normalizing Ghana football. The biggest pointer to whether or not we've normalized is the attitude of people who take charge of Ghana football moving forward. We can change the statutes, we can change the positions of the people, but if the attitudes of the constituent of the Ghana Football Association doesn't change, then what we've done over the last, it's been how many months? June 2018,
June,
no, when did they take over?
Normalization committee took over 13th
September 2018.
So
then whatever we've done throughout that period has been an absolute waste of time. Then we're probably better off allowing things to stay as they were, because look, yes, we may have changed the statute, we may be seeing one or two new phases in there. In terms of how the politicking has been done, we've seen a difference. People have added a touch of finesse in terms of the way they've branded. But I always say, you can brand all you want, but if the fundamentals are weak, your branding will count for nothing. The filth beneath will always go in the show. It will always expose you. You understand me? So yes, the biggest point again has to do with the attitudes of people, and it begins with how people have voted, how people came by the decision to vote for candidate A or candidate B. Was it based on the issues, or was it based on the claim or possibility that somebody bought somebody watching to eat?
So now
okay,
it
but
comes back to a point.
And my question though, yes, for you guys was, and for you, Jesse, is you never know what the delegate is thinking. That's unfortunate. You never know what he's thinking. You never know how and how.
But there's a proverb in P that clearly, I mean, the man's head is not like coconut, so that you divide it to be able to see exactly what is in it. Clearly, I think this. Look, fundamentally, the normalization process clearly it didn't have focus, right? I think there was no focus to it. There was no plan to it. Clearly, Cotto was one of those people we bashed.
Guys, we're like Chairman Cotto.
Chairman Cotto was one of the people we bashed.
It's very important.
And all those things. He has been retained. Clearly. Point.
What does normalization got to do with it?
Yeah, because I'm saying that you never know, and I'm saying, because Hans made a good point, but I'm saying that you never know what a delegate is thinking. So you can never judge, and you can never be right.
The point I'm making is that this: that if we thought that the normalization process was going to bring a certain instant change, then we are clearly deceiving ourselves. That's why last week I made a point. I said this manifesto launch and presentation is just an academic exercise. That academic exercise obviously is what has been, clearly, did you see Eugene Jacquet's manifesto? I saw it. They didn't vote for it.
But you are not a delegate.
No, I'm saying
you're
that
not directly investing. They invested more.
I'm saying that,
and they are likely to make a better decision than you.
The thing is this: the elections was not based, and this election clearly will not be based on the one who has given us the best manifesto.
Why?
Because it boils down to loyalty. It boils down to, I know him. He is my friend. He's been with us in the trenches.
He's likely to put me somewhere as well.
He's likely to put me some.
Benedict, I'll let you come. So you just wait. I want Prof to fully make the point. And by that, remember that if you are selling any ideas to anybody,
yes,
you give them the ideas, and you must ensure that they believe in what you're saying.
Well,
just having fantastic ideas is enough. You have to go the extra step of getting them to believe.
Bottom line is this: for me, the manifesto launch and the manifesto presentations was clearly based on the fact that it had become fashionable. Therefore, if I didn't do it, I'll look odd. So let me go out there and do it. And I said last week, I said that 10%, not even 10% of those manifestos that have been presented, if whoever wins will be able to achieve it. 10%. That manifesto, the day they win, it will shock you. They'll throw it somewhere. That manifesto will be thrown somewhere to the dogs.
Aren't you being unnecessarily pessimistic?
I am not being pessimistic.
The manifestos are there for us to go back and ask them.
Again, last week I gave the example. The start time deal, they were supposed to give us 10 pitches. Where are they? Have you seen one?
That's before normalization.
Have you seen one?
That's before normalization.
I'm saying, have you seen one?
Before normalization.
Do you know the excuses they gave us? They said land tenure system. So clearly, we have signed a contract, a sponsorship deal, that the sponsor is supposed to give us 10 pitches, and we haven't seen one. So what is the difference? And those people making the promises today, 2 of them were on that executive committee that approved that contract. So I'm saying that look, I mean, for me, the manifesto, for me as an analyst, is good for me. I read, I appreciate, I assess everything, but I know I will never be deceived by the fact that those things that have been put on paper will be implemented. Not even 10% of it.
Okay,
will
Prof.
be implemented.
That's Prof. Benedict, let me get to you before. I'm going to tell you guys, we're going to go through all the guys who've won
the chairman,
the RFA election. So all the new chairmen will be going through that.
And we know that some of the presidential candidates have sponsors. So
we'll go through that. Benedict, what do you make? It appears Jesse and Hans are very pessimistic. Not exactly Hans being pessimistic, but Jesse is.
This is different. If you're looking at the RFA elections and you want to just oppose that and possibly maybe think that it's going to be the same as that of the constituent bodies and the presidential election, I totally would disagree. And you look at even the makeup of this election, only 2 were maintained or retained.
Yes.
So apart from Chairman Cotto, that's Osei Tutu Agyemang, and then Upper East, Alhaji Zeda.
Zeda?
I mean, the rest are new guys coming through.
Salif Zeda, yeah.
But the old ones, the old ones didn't stand. They didn't go for the election.
Exactly.
So let's not pretend as if
wait,
an old person lost.
Yes, but hold on. Prof, let him make his point.
That was the point I was making.
Very, very important.
That was the point I was making. So I'm just saying that you are talking about nothing has changed. What was that message that Cotto and Zeda gave the people? Do you know?
Well, I don't have. I don't have.
What did they say?
What did they say?
Yeah.
What did they say?
And what is it that they did or have been doing that these people think that they should continue?
Yeah.
I mean, retired referee in Sian can come and say whatever, but on what basis? How do you prove that so and so people went in there to vote for the man because of the food he's talking about? You understand? So yes. I don't want us to dwell much prominence on this, but only to look at it from this way. Someone like Ralph Jamra BA did so much even when he wasn't the IFA chairman there. The last elections he lost to Augustine Asante.
Sure.
Now he's back. He's in. He's won. You can look at people like other Lemford,
who won
landslide victory. So I'm just looking at all these people and I think that
remember he was advised to.
Well,
I think that he was accept that one. He was advised to who?
Things are gradually.
No, he was advised to who?
Oh, let's continue.
No, he was advised to
Chairman Cotto.
It's okay, so please let him continue. Benedict, yes.
Lost.
Yes.
So, you know.
So Benedict, yes. So we should give them a chance.
Give them a chance.
Things are changing.
I mean, to say that they are not going to vote based on whatever they've heard. I've interacted with some of these people, and Prof, it will interest you to know that it's not just going to be about loyalty.
Yeah.
It's not going to be about what we were used to. Now they are all looking at what is on paper, what this person can do. Because of course, because where we've got into and where we want to go to, that is what we need. We need somebody who will come and say, okay, we have to do this to change the image. And that's the point I've been making, and I'm so glad and happy that they all keep hammering the same point. Yeah. That, see, it is not about us. It is about the people, the public, the people that will bring
them. They let the public vote.
No. It's not possible. It's not possible.
Of course.
So if
let nobody lie to anybody else about the people.
No, it's about the people.
You know, let's go on.
Oh, do you know why it's about the people?
No,
because if we were not the people, we wouldn't have gotten where we are now. Do you know that? Do you know
with the
government acted? Government acted on everything that happened based on the public reaction. Do you know?
Governments always react based on public reaction.
Exactly.
I mean,
so it was based on the people, and that's why they are doing this. See, the people is not just about you and I. The people is about those that will pump money into the FA. The FA would always go out for sponsorship. Is that not the case?
So corporate Ghana, other people.
If let's say they are going to MTN is who and who. Don't you have shares in MTN? You all have shares in MTN. It is us. MTN will act based on what people are saying. You don't agree?
Yes, I agree.
The bank will act. But why do you think
MTN will act based on the analysis?
Based on the public perception.
Of cost and benefit.
No, it's not always. It's not always the case.
Okay,
it's not always the case. So let's say, George, I'm coming. One particular product, you always will lambast. Even the product is good, though. Sikedie, Black Stars, Sikedie. Do you think that MTN will go and put their money in Black Stars when people are always on radio everywhere saying Sikedie?
Yeah, public perception.
Yes, so that is very, very important. It's not just about the cost, whether it will give you money or not. You will never want to associate yourself with something that is bad. Prof, am I lying?
You are not lying. You are on point.
Real quick.
You are on point.
Can I make my point?
So what I'm saying is that it
Okay.
won't be based on loyalty, be based on what is on paper. And for the very first time, you see it.
Well,
Okay.
I listen. I am saying, and I will say this. Look, it's not that I'm being pessimistic. I'm preparing my heart for future disappointment, so I don't get disappointed.
Okay.
What noise didn't we make about the Jam Affair Commission's sittings? What noise didn't we make about it? Where is the report? Is it not gathering dust?
Mm-hmm.
Have we implemented the things in the report?
Not even full stop.
Right now, we have done. Brofo is no longer talking about it again. We have done because you have seen that.
Who's not talking about it?
Bravo, Moses Foreman.
Okay.
He's not talking about it.
Right.
When they handed
CFO
over,
himself.
he was really championing the cause, but he realized that nobody. But even the whole president says the thing is not on his radar. It's not on his radar. But look at the pomp and pageantry. It was all over. Hey, Jamefe, systems failure. Have you forgotten?
And that was a government acting on public reaction.
Exactly. But then after the report, gather dust. What noise didn't we make about 127 people dying and then Okujato Commission? We made a lot of noise. But at the end of the day, that report is gathering dust. In fact, after that report, we had another certain, 4 people dying at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. Didn't we have that? So I'm saying that consistently,
You have no reason to believe that it's going to get better.
To believe that we are good formulators of policy, but poor implementers and then enforcers. That's what it is.
Quick point, real quick. Let's not sit in this country and pretend at all. It will be very dangerous if we go down that path. Are we saying is that it's unthinkable that a candidate will try to induce delegate with Wachi? No, really. Are we saying that it's unthinkable?
There are different kinds of wache. That's what you.
No, I'm saying even wache itself. I'm talking wache, rice, beans.
And the normal one that you
Charlie,
see.
you mean
And there's another different levels.
I am saying
You mean
there's some wache.
whichever wache you mean.
There's some wache that you eat. You're not even sure where you are.
Whichever
you
wache
Laboni,
you mean.
Like you went to Laboni to eat. After eating, you didn't even know you were Laboni. You were wondering.
So I'm saying that is it unthinkable that a candidate will try to induce delegates with Wachi? Are we saying it's unthinkable in this country?
Well.
Are we saying that it's not even possible?
Matches and Ben to Adete.
No, let's really. Are we saying it's impossible?
But we should be careful not to disrespect them as well. But what
I have this. There is this thing that I totally disagree with.
Okay.
For instance, that when we speak about the negatives of something, we are running it down. We are not. Okay, it is that posture that we've adopted with the Ghana Premier League that it keeps sinking, because consistently when things go wrong and you talk about it, people are going to tell you, and the Premier League doesn't highlight its negatives.
Someone sent me a message.
Okay.
People are hungry, so they watch it.
Somebody will tell you that when you watch Premier League matches, they don't highlight the negatives, and I tell you, look, you dare compare yourself with the Premier League? They are at a stage in their development where they can afford to hide their negatives.
No, but
we cannot.
If even referees take atrocious decisions,
I'm coming. Exactly.
Let Hans finish. Go on.
So let's not sit here and pretend as if it's not even possible that somebody is going to try to induce delegates with watch. It's very possible. As to whether it happened or not, I can't speak to that.
Tell, but it's possible.
But it's possible. It could have happened. And that is why I'm saying that if people voted based on what was on paper, and again, talking of things that Ghanaians put on paper, look, the moment it gets on paper, know that it will never get done. In this country, when we put things on paper, they never ever get done.
You like the pipeline, rather. You like the ones in the pipeline.
Let's face it. I mean, Prof referenced a lot of things we've put on paper. We don't do things on paper. In this country, when it's on paper, unless it's money. If it's money and it's on paper, that one will go for it. But if it's not money and it's actual work that is supposed to be done, and we put the work on paper, we don't do it. And we know it. Reality, look, beautiful ideas, manifestos, policy documents, whatever. Call it whatever you want to call it. They are so nice. Go through all of it. And I mentioned it last week. If you can implement 1%, okay, the progress we are going to make, the strides Ghana football is going to make, you marvel. But sadly, let's go through the election, let a candidate win, and you and I will come back to interrogating that candidate's manifesto vis-a-vis what he's been able to achieve in about 3 or 2 years down the line.
They will tell you.
They simply will not implement it. You see, we live in a country where when you find yourself in a political situation, most often people will tell you the things they will do when they come, but they get there and realize that, in fact, if I do what I told these people I'm going to do, I may not even win the next elections.
So it means they start lying before they come.
So I'm telling you that what I'm telling you is this. It is not, look, it's not unthinkable that people didn't vote based on what people put on paper or the ideas people put on paper. We know a lot of, when it comes to the Ghana Football Association, it's about loyalty. People trade positions. Look, make me the president, I'll put you on this committee. We know it. Let's not kid ourselves.
I had an experience. I was with one of the FIFA presidential candidates, and we were in a room, and some executive members had to come in and try and negotiate. So I had the opportunity of hearing live what some of them wanted.
I'm saying, I'm coming.
Yes,
I'm saying, let me finish. I'm saying that it's likely.
Like I want to be on the committee.
I'm saying
I want to be the vice president.
It's likely that people actually voted because promises were made that, look, vote for me when I come, I'll put you on this committee. Or vote for me.
But that's normal.
So why then are we pretending that people didn't actually vote based on ideas?
Okay, so you're even saying that the Awache may only be
even I'm saying that quite apart from the watching. Okay, another reason why people are not likely even to vote based on what was presented to them on paper is that promises are going to be made. Somebody is going to vote because he knows that if I vote for George, it is likely George is going to put me on this committee. In the past, we've had it. We've heard rumors.
But Hans,
I'm coming. Okay. Let me finish.
It is so normal.
It's really normal.
Okay.
You see, hold it. Let me tell you why it's not normal. Benedict, relax.
I'll come to you.
You see, the point you are starting from is a non-starter. It is not normal. We found ourselves in a situation where we felt it wasn't supposed to be normal. So we said we're going to normalize. And if we are going to normalize, and we are going back to doing the same thing that we thought was normal, what have we normalized really? We've been in this country where we've heard rumors, and in this country very often the rumors are true, where people are allowed slots in the various national teams to bring their players for consideration. Are they lie? Prof, are they lie?
You know they lie.
We've been here when people have found themselves on various management committees by virtue of their loyalty to people, not by virtue of their expertise. It's pure politics. Let's face it. Yes, it may be normal. It's part of the political process. But I don't want us to sit here and throw dust into the eyes of Ghanaians. I see the delegates have gone in there and voted based on purely. I'm coming. Yeah. The delegates have gone in there and voted purely based on the issues. That hasn't happened. Loyalties have been considered. Inducements have been considered. And that is why people have voted for people. It's the only reason why somebody will walk in the room
with 12 delegates and then we still end up with 2. Let's try.
I want to explain why I said normal.
Yeah.
Not normal as in the practice. Normal as in every election.
Trade-offs. There are trade-offs.
Yes.
Essentially.
There are people that are so fixated. So let's say I go in for an election. Selwyn is here. No matter what, if you like, let me even put a manifesto there or not, Selwyn will go for Benedict. You understand? There are those people.
That is there.
That is there. Mm-hmm. So we cannot dispute that. And there are other people too that, okay, when they hear, let's say Mubarak is here, I tell him that, Charlie, if I'm able to get this position,
I'll give you this position.
Exactly. Charlie, the man also wants to do something for his life. He'll move.
So he will align. Basically, the point.
And the others, I'm coming. The others too that you tell them that you want to give them whatever, but what they've seen on paper in terms of whatever you want to bring, no.
In a Ghanaian election,
Of course,
in a Ghanaian election.
There are those, but there are those that no matter what. See, when you go to some houses, and let me tell you this thing: when you go to some house, and okay, you're already married, but for some of us, for some of us, if you don't know, and you go to a house where all of them are with party A, and you go, let's say there's something on TV. No, it's not like you even tell them you are party B. There's something on TV about party A, which you don't agree with. They say that these people cry, this thing that. Charlie, that's the end. They will take the marriage, you. You will not even come back to the place. They will take that away because their minds and everything is on party A. No matter what, if like let party A, excuse me, do their thing. You know what I mean? Do their thing there for us to know that this is what they've done in public.
They'll still vote for party A.
But we are in this country where, then this one I have to mention NDC NPP. NPP will do whatever. If like let NPP bring God
some place that conk NPP, nothing will change about it.
NDC will hold a press conference and say that is not God. Let NDC also do something.
So that's just politics.
So it's just
that's
politics.
The point I'm making. Okay, that is politics.
Guys,
people haven't really voted based on.
I want to do this. I want to do this. I want us to move to the next level of this discussion.
Exactly. So I was going to.
Yes, very quickly. Very quickly.
So no. The next level will be the RFAs and then their roles and all
that is what I want us to get to right now. That's the next point.
Exactly.
So let's just go through the list now.
Yeah, exactly.
Salif Zeda, Upper East, Robert Duncan, Central Region. Then we have Yaya Sadugu, Upper West. We have Daniel Agboga, that's Volta Region. We have Ralph Jambra, that's Bronga Hafo. Abu Al-Hassan, Northern Region. Simon Ahoma, that's Western Region. Samuel Awabri, that's Greater Accra. We have that's Tutu Ajiman. You can Qatar to it, and of course Tutu Ajiman, that's Ashanti Region, Chairman Kotoro, and then Linford Asamoah, who really swept the votes in the Eastern Region, and he won there. So these are the new RFA chairman, or the chairman who are going to be handling things from here. But Prof, let's make a point about the RFAs and what they expected to do. When Elijah Grusa called them the Guru Boys, it was taking in very bad taste there. But I'm not sure. I just feel he didn't find the right words. Yeah. But for a long time, the RFAs have failed to think as RFAs are supposed to do, and have failed to take their place in Ghana football, which is even more important for us in terms of development than even the GFA president.
Well, I think that for the RFAs, clearly they are in charge of the courts football, which is in their regions. They are in charge of Division 2, Division 3, organized league at that level. Clearly, the RFAs don't do a lot of things to generate money, and there is no business approach. They are always waiting, from the head office, Accra, to give them money, buy them pickups for them to be able to go around and then do their work. I think clearly this thing about court football today I was seriously thinking about court football and why it's gone down. For me, one of the major issues has been funding, and court football has gone down not because of anything, but because in the past it was literally financed by individuals who just loved football and they financed it. For example, Kotobabi Power Lines by the late Yao Ladanso. Now, getting to the early 2000s and mid 2000s, these individuals started owning clubs at Division 1 and the Premier level. So, primarily because the traditional clubs like Okowu United, Hazakers, all those 11 Ys, they were literally giving way for these individually owned clubs. So that Mr. Ketokreku, who has Dreams FC, if say you still had, an Okowu United still strong in the Premier League, you have a Mr. Ketokreku who would want to keep Dreams as a coast football club. But because the traditional clubs have died to allow for the individuals who would have otherwise invested at the coach level, now coach football is suffering. Primarily, that's the problem. That's how I see it. Because in the past, when you talk about,
I disagree.
No,
okay, I'll come to your hands.
Yes, but in the past, really, if you talk about coach football, it was owned by individuals.
That's true.
That's the truth. And those individuals now have become poor. and they don't have money.
Fantastic. That fundamentally is a
I'll
very
come to your hand.
I'm coming. But that is a factor. But the other factor that is disturbing Coast football now is that those individuals who would have otherwise gone to invest there are now having clubs at either Division 1 or Premier League. That's what it is. So what's supposed to happen? What is supposed to happen is this: that you have a situation where we now come to the realization that our football development must not be a top-down approach but a bottom-up approach. What am I saying? All the money that you are putting at the Black Stars level, as a matter of fact, government or the sports ministry must sit down with the Ghana Football Association and say that now we are gradually going to win support of the Black Stars. So we are starting this year, 20% of the budget. If you go and look for the money, every budget you do for this year, if you are going to do qualifiers, 20% of that budget you present to us, go and look for your money. That 20%, we are putting it into coast football. You move to the next year, 30%. It means 50% in the following year. So that gradually, the money that $4.5 million we went to waste at Egypt, that money can do a lot for coast football. So that then you now give it to the RFAs at that level, well supervised, so that they can apply the money to develop the game. Otherwise, these RFAs we are talking about, they are not doing anything to generate funds. So the only way by which they can get funds is that now government need to sit down and behave like the English government or the British government and say they don't put money in the Three Lions. All the monies that go, in England from the government, it goes to develop youth football. So it's important that we now come to understand, for me, and you see, I've been listening to these presidential candidates and they don't seem to come up with some of these things because clearly we haven't been able to identify the real problem. Why is it that coast football is collapsing? I'm saying that coast football is purely collapsing because formerly they were run by individuals. Those individuals were impoverished, and now new individuals who are coming up are now owning clubs at the top divisions. Now they cannot go down and invest in coast football again.
Good.
And that's what is happening.
Let me come to you, Hans, and maybe a question on that. Is there a little bit of truth in the fact that the RFAs have failed to mobilize properly, even if there was anything to salvage in the areas?
Absolutely. You see, you mentioned that maybe Alaji Gunsa didn't find the right words to describe the areas when he called them guru boys, but in maybe football language, that's exactly what they've been. Kwesi Nyantakyi reduced them to yes men. You understand me? That is a system that was a regime that was created under Kwesi Nyantakyi. Show me an RFA chairman who wasn't a Nyantakyi loyalist. I'll probably find maybe about 1 or 2 out of the 10 under Kwesi Nyantakyi. And if you did, the likelihood was that you are not going to win the next elections. Yeah,
in Nyantakyi's situation was difficult, because especially when the elections were done upside down. President first before GFAs. So RFAs.
Primarily, they were yes men, and maybe in football language, they were Goro boys. The man was spot on in his description. Maybe the nomenclature wasn't right, but in the way he described them, he was spot on. Again, why some of us are skeptical that nothing is going to change is because in terms of the structure of the Football Association, maybe we've changed the number of people on a certain committee, and we've changed the names of certain committees, and we've made the amendment to 1 or 2 statutes. But nothing major has changed in my opinion. We asked the question, what are the RFA supposed to do? Okay. Essentially, the RFA is supposed to be the implementers of the Football Association's policy. They have to carry out the plans of the football associations within the various regions. Also, peculiar to, depending on their own peculiar situations, they should be able to map up strategies that solve whatever situations that they may find themselves in. So, for instance, Eastern region may be suffering, technically, not logistically, not financially. How do we ensure that we solve our technical problems? Okay, so you write to the FA, request training for maybe court coaches or juvenile coaches, stuff like that. The Western region is suffering from logistics. How do we solve it? You liaise with your big men in Accra to find ways of mobilizing funds to solve that problem. But essentially, what the RFAs are supposed to do is that they are supposed to be the implementers of the FA's policy, period. Because those sitting in Accra cannot go down to the various regions and implement their policies. They are supposed to oversee it. And again, more critical to their role is the development of talent, because they are in touch, direct touch with the raw materials that we have in this country.
i.e. Colts,
i.e. Colts and the other
academies,
juvenile
whatever,
and
Division
so
3,
it's
Division 2.
their responsibility. Of course, they do that hand in hand with their bosses in Accra based on whatever policies that we also have. But what did we see previously? We saw a situation where they were reduced to doing nothing. Apart from they'll be there, they are handpicked to serve on committees,
And they will come to
or
Accra
they'll join the national team to travel
for
and
meetings
come
and
for
sign for
meetings.
per diem.
And that's it. Look, I had a shocker when I got to know that consistently you have the regions playing the Colts League. They send technical reports to the technical directorate of the Ghana Football Association, and there is no feedback on their technical report.
Nobody cares.
Now, guess what?
No, please. It is technical director. They don't have a director.
No, but you don't even have a
there's a
director.
director, there's supposed to be a
that's
director.
good. Anyway,
No,
yeah,
it's
there's
no,
no
but
director.
it's not.
Okay, it's okay.
But
It's okay.
so to the technical director.
Just all right.
Well,
So
I don't want to address the person.
Yeah.
I want to address the office.
The office, the-
Okay, I don't address, because if I say I'm going to address the person, it's going to be
there
an
was
entirely
nothing like
different
that.
ballgame. But whether they took you to the director
Or the
his
directorate.
office, the report ended up at the Ghana Football Association somehow, and there was absolutely no feedback. You know what it means? The FA was not interested in how young Ghanaian players were being trained. They were not remotely. Look, they won't even read a technical report and see what are we not doing right. What are the challenges that the various regions are facing? How do we solve those challenges? Is it any surprise that right now nobody can point me into the brand of football that Ghana plays? Nobody. Our various national teams play different brands of football under different coaches. What's our national team? What agro? Agro where?
Football.
Which one is that one?
Agro.
Which is agro? Agro.
Why it is agro?
Agro money and I say
We are
then one agro and I say
Because
there.
we are playing.
Agro.
You know how dangerous it is. It is not a mistake that we struggle to in recent years. We've struggled to consistently make the youth tournament at the highest level, and when we do, we are abysmal.
Okay.
You understand me?
Yeah.
And so the RFAs are crucial,
And they need to step up.
They need
Even
to
in
step
spite
up.
of their challenges, they need to step up.
I'm looking forward to the day an RFA chairman will come out and say, look, we have this policy document at the FA.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4 persons are ensuring that we are not seeing it through. We have this policy document. The direction the FA is towing, or the FA president is towing, goes contrary to the policy document.
But Hans not
But
to cut
nobody will dare step up and
Yes.
challenge the president of the Ghana Football Association.
Benedict, let me draw you in this one again. Don't you think that sports media, including all of us, have failed to place the lenses on the RFA? It's like we've left them there. We're always talking about presidents and it's like because how many times do we invite an RFA chairman to come and sit in studio?
How many
and
times do they avail themselves?
But I
avail themselves.
Let's deal with what we can.
Before Benedict answers,
Before Benedict
I'm just saying
that if those of us here can say I invited this chairman, he didn't come.
Before Benedict answers, let me point you to the Western Regional RFA, the past one, Yanka.
Yes,
you know
we
where he
invited
lives.
him to your show
You know where he lives?
in Accra or where?
Accra. He lives in the United States.
Okay.
For the 5 years I was in Takrady, I can tell you, he spends probably 3 or 4 months in Takrady. He lives in the United States with his family. He doesn't live in Ghana.
That's a peculiar situation for Western region.
No.
I am just living outside.
I'm not saying all of them.
And you
I
are
am
living
just saying.
in the United States
I am
of
just
America.
saying.
That's why I'm looking at the two.
The point I'm
He's
making is
a
that
good point. Yes.
they are never available.
They are not available.
Look, when they are, even when you invite them as a general, they won't speak because one, they are not privy to the issue. Two, they are scared of stepping on the toes of their bosses. Or 3, they are simply incompetent and not good enough to speak on today.
Okay, so you can say for Western region, and you
Yanka,
say,
it's a fact.
I mean,
That's a known fact.
I mean, I like that.
Everybody knows this.
I'm saying that I like that because then it helps to balance it. But you cannot just say they're not available anywhere.
You are in Greater Accra.
So let's go. Benedict,
you are in Greater Accra. No.
Benedict.
No. Let's be honest.
But I haven't invited Eddie Doku for any program yet.
No.
I haven't invited him for a show.
Okay.
No. I haven't. Yes. So.
No,
I haven't. If I've invited him, Bob, have you invited Eddie Doku for?
No, don't worry. Let's go.
Eddie, have you invited him?
No. Let's go on.
It's good if you have invited him for a show and he hasn't come. You can make the point.
Let's go on.
And I like that brave one he made. Clearly, Yank has not been going for shows when he's been invited, is it?
George,
or when you call him, he doesn't speak. Even he doesn't need to be in the region anyway. The
running of the RFA, things will change when we have a new leadership at the FA, because almost all the candidates have mentioned that they will decentralize the RFA, where now proper things will be done there. You know, in previous times, if you get to know how they even ran, the chairman is there with a typewriter. Just at the RFA, yes.
A computer, a typewriter.
Well, Charlie, his computer and his typewriter. Yeah. You know typewriter?
No, I'm just confused.
Typewriter is what you're talking about.
So I'm just telling you. So and we live in a society where if there are issues at the regional level, we are all coming to Accra. You understand? So how would you see the importance of the RFA when that was how things were being done? That's why now all of them are talking about decentralization. And it's at this point that we see if it will work. Because, George, if we are looking at that situation, the previous situation where it was the challenges that I'm talking about, where the man is there, he takes it as a full-time job, even if, you know, it shouldn't be a full-time job, but most of them took it as a full-time job. It wasn't functioning well. Players were traveling from Yindi, from Volta region, to player status sittings here in Accra. But if there is a proper secretariat where there is a secretary, there's an administrator at the RFA level, they are doing their own registration, they don't come to Accra for player status sittings and all are being done at that level. I think that then we'll get to see the use of this regional football associations, because previously we were not seeing that. Previously it became like they are also part of the board. So when there are board meetings, I'm talking about executive committee, they all come. But now that's not going to be the case.
Only two of them.
Only two.
Okay.
The rest are not going to be there.
Okay.
You understand? So there's going to be a total deviation of what used to be the status quo, where all of them were just coming here and no work.
I wonder why Benedict is so sure of this.
No, but
that's what is going to happen. That's what is going to happen now, because the 10 are not all of them are not going to be on the board. You understand? Yeah. But previously they were on the board. They were all looking at being on committees,
coming for
national
meetings,
team committees,
sign up and
just a different
see they can lobby their time. Okay.
But things are going to be different now.
It's going to be a different bureaucracy.
Hans, I think it's good to. I understand your entrenched positions, but of course it's good to also open up and allow them to do something to see where it goes. Yes.
The other thing is that's why I'm saying it comes down to the funding, and I'll keep emphasizing on the funding, because you see, if they are supposed to organize Coast League and they don't have the money to organize, and the FA itself doesn't have the money from headquarters to give to the regions for them to organize, and the IFA you have an IFA chairman who cannot think outside of the box to go and raise funding, clearly there's a problem.
And that's why the RFAs have to start
thinking
out of the box. It's important.
So
because they have 150 clubs, 100
so the question, George, the question you and I should be asking ourselves is, these 10 chairmen that have been elected
think
now,
out of the box,
do they have the capacity? Do they have the needed connections to be able to attract sponsorship?
Because in every region they are
at the regional level, because they are companies in every region.
Yes.
So the point I'm making is that do they have that capacity? Do they have that wherewithal? Do they have those connections to be able to? That is why now, if you are a delegate and you went to vote because of Wachi, these are the issues we'll be asking. You understand? Because at the end of the day, that chairman you have voted because of Wachi, has he got that link? Has he got that connection to be able to bring money when he calls Accra and Accra says they don't have money?
We are going to stop them from calling Accra.
Finally, for me.
We are going to stop them from calling Accra.
You see, and I'll come back to the point I made.
Yeah.
the biggest pointer to whether we've normalized or abnormalized will be the attitudes that people show. It will not be what changes we've made to the statute. It will not be what somebody has promised. Okay? And it certainly will not be who has the Ghana Football Association. It will be the conduct of the people who lead Ghana football. And when I talk about the conduct, we know how people have misconducted themselves over the years. And we know what it culminated in. Unfortunately, the reason some of us are skeptical is because even within this what we call a normalization process, there's been so much abnormality. So it becomes so difficult for you to have any sort of belief that once this process is complete, we are going to be seeing a different age. What we've seen through this period doesn't inspire confidence. It doesn't inspire trust. If you watch closely, there's a certain sense of urgency within the football people to simply regain control of football and go back to business as usual. And it's the reason why they say themselves that along the way they've had to make a lot of compromises, because for them it's all about regaining control of football and then doing what they want to do with it. And that is what doesn't inspire confidence. Look, I would have been very, very confident, okay, if within this normalization process people have stood up and challenged illegalities rather than come on radio and allege them. And when you ask them why didn't you challenge it, they tell you that, well, I mean, this process has dragged on. I don't care if the normalization process takes 15 years, 20 years. So long as after the period, what we have, what we call Ghana football, is sane, is beautiful, is what we all want to see. But that hasn't happened.
Then quickly,
real quick.
The district association football, the district football associations, very critical, because then the regional football associations will have to ensure that various district football associations are set up, their chairmen are elected, and they are supposed to supervise what goes on.
That's a long shot. But real quick,
it's very important
on why juvenile football is dying. Prof stipulated some of the facts which are true, but the fundamental reason why people left grassroots football was simply because people were being cheated. Look, here's what happened. Let me paint the picture to you. People made a decision that if I'm going to stay down there and develop players and people are going to take them and not give me a dime, I'd rather go wait for the players at the top than take them and sell them and make money.
True.
That is what happened. Over the years, if you mention all the popular courts club from Accra through Kumasi to Takoradi everywhere, the best juvenile clubs were associated with one name.
So you're calling for policy, right?
One person, I'll come to that. One person who ensured that the club stood, who ensured a production line of players. And we saw them over the years. The likes of the players we took to the 2006 World Cup all went through this cool system. But I think they realized, it got to a point they realized that, look, clubs take them, sell them to European clubs, and they get nothing. So over time, watch. A lot of the people we have at the top now were people who are doing grassroots football. So they realize, if I'm going to stay down there, develop players, and not get a dime out of those players, then let me stop and also go to the top. Wait for the players to come. Somebody, however they develop, they don't care. And that's why we are even getting players of inferior quality these days. The players come. They get to maybe second division or first division. Take them, sell to Europe. They've made their money. Done. And so if you don't get committed people, and you see, before you get committed people, and that's what you mentioned, we need to find the right policies that punishes people who take people's juvenile players and not reward them for their effort. Let's find a way to reward the people who actually develop talent for this country, and that problem will be solved.
Can I help you? By the way, Commission's report. So you see what I was talking about reports gathering dust. By the way, Commission's report said some coach clubs should be paid monies by some clubs. Up to now, they haven't paid.
And they won't pay.
They won't pay. So again, the other element is this: these players, they don't know how to give back. Like the way George, you go back to Presec and want to contribute to the upkeep of Presec. These players who went through these coach clubs, they forgot to give back. So, like Hans said, their owners became impoverished and they saw, look, one, clubs are cheating me. Two, these players who pass through my hands, or when they see me cry, they don't.
So they go to the top.
So they go to the top. All of them are there. So now it is about. That's why I'm advising government that have a 2-year program with the FA. Begin to win your support of the Black Stars, because you know what? I have heard government being asked this question: that what role did government play in Michael Essie's development? That's what they've asked. That's what they've asked government. So now, government, I'm telling you, don't spend your money at the Black Stars level, so that now you can justify why the amount of money you have invested in, a junior player when he gets to the Black Stars.
Which is all fine, but I think we make the point as well that even with the limited resources, the RFA chairman would have to think outside the box, or get people who can think outside the box.
George, I asked the question.
If you can't think outside the box,
George, I asked the question. The 10 people who have been elected, George, I'm asking you, the 10 people who have been elected. Do you know anybody who can think outside the box?
No, I would not go. I would not try to.
Why should it necessarily be a box?
Why should? And my point is, just if you think you can. No, if you can't think outside the box,
shouldn't necessarily be a box.
I mean, no,
if you can't think outside the box, think inside the box.
Inside it.
Or a triangle. It shouldn't necessarily be a box.
Benedict, let's look at this as well. I thought we could do this, but we have to still stick with this because. Benedict, can we draw any lines? Can we draw any patterns from the RFA?
You are the man on the ground.
The RFA elections. I mean, what we have seen, it's a bit confusing because everyone says.
Charlie, drop the sound one more time.
Yeah, but everyone.
That sound is critical.
No. Everyone says that Charlie. Oh my RFA chairman are in. So all of a sudden, people have started getting some votes.
I see. Tonight, some people won't sleep. Not the RFA chairman.
I beg.
We are coming now, so assurance on my name say because 40. We are coming now, so assurance on my name say because 40. Yes. Because they are delegates. This morning we saw that they are only the pound to because they have to go to a certain place. They went, and when they went, I'm told they were fed for watching, and that's all. So a delegate there, I can't say you cannot predict them. Don't look at the faces that determine who they are winning. As I said, they have their different way of behaving. This is from a delegate. Only one job so. They all can't visit a no.
Okay, all right.
But what was he doing? When people were shooting people watching, you were there watching.
Someone.
Now you are here complaining that somebody fed somebody.
Someone has sent you a message. Said, next time it will be fufu. So, Benedict, can we draw any patterns from what we have seen with respect to the main elections next week?
Well, first of all, Nane Amponsan, I've seen a publication that he has 12 out of 20 and that he won big in the RFA. So that's
what number?
That's just
you asked what? How many?
12 out of 20.
Hey, 12 again.
Yeah, so just to answer your question, I mean, Nanaya, based on the publication, he has started drawing the lines clearly. But if it's anything to
so that's a publication.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It could be to cause fear and panic.
Well,
in
it could
or
be
in the other
cause fear and panic when George also talks about already having 80 votes out of the 120. So I'm sure when you are a candidate or a contender, you sit down and be like, hey Charlie, if the man already has 80 there and 70 I'll get 5. You understand? But of course, based on everything that has happened in this election, I think that we should expect some surprises next week. Because I mean, some of the people that won, some that we predicted, especially with the Greater Accra. Greater Accra is one place that for once.
But even the candidates agree that Greater Accra, you never know who is going away.
No, because of how well Eugene Jakwe did last 4 years when he contested Eddie Doku. He did very well. So of course, if Eddie Doku is not there and the man who contested him haven't done so well in that election, straight away we think that he will win. But Charlie,
FIFA election, my candidate lost.
My own.
But Benedict, is it possible that even though he was close to Blatter, is it possible even at this stage the presidential candidates actually know how many votes they will be getting?
They are calculating. You must know.
Yeah, they know.
Well, based on your interaction,
their own lobbying and stuff.
Your interaction with people,
they have an idea.
And I'm saying that, and I keep saying it's 120. 120. For instance, I go to all of them. This one says, that's why I like Fred Papu's approach. The last time on our Empire FM, he said that the only person you can be sure of to vote for you is Fred Papu and Accra Great Olympics.
Yes.
You understand? But some, of course, you have to make your projections. I'm sure when they go around, you speak to delegates A.
You should have an idea
I'll vote for
the
you.
number you're getting.
Diana, I'll vote for you.
So this process is exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. You have to do a lot of.
It's just 120, so
Yes.
you can just do that.
And you know the delegates.
That's why I don't
So listen
begrudge
to
someone
that,
like George when he says he's going to get 80. I'm sure he's gone around, he's spoken to these people, and they've told him plain language that Charlie.
But what they eat on the day, what they eat on the day can be critical. I mean, from what we're
They
learning.
call somebody 40.
But I'm saying that even
So-
today,
Some people came.
Nana, wait. Even today, someone entered with 12 people. Chairman. At the end of the day, when they counted, he had to.
Okay.
Where did the
So-
10 pass?
so it's fine. I'll just look at how we can push this in straight, and we just have to look at the Black Stars B. They are up against Burkina Faso on Sunday. You hopeful they can get this job done?
Yeah, work is cut out for us. I mean, it'll be.
They lost the first leg by 1
Yeah,
point.
it really doesn't matter.
But they beat them.
For
They
me-
beat Burkina Faso on
For
penalties in
me,
the
for me,
World.
I think that their work is cut out for them. I mean, it will be disastrous if we don't qualify for the
This
challenge.
could easily be disastrous.
I mean, 2016, 2018, we didn't go. Then I can't phantom 2020 Cameroon. We not going. I think.
But now you should be visualizing that because you lost by 1-0 at home.
Yeah. But I mean, yes. So what it means is that the players. You see, there's something about Ghanaian teams and national teams. When it is that the odds are against them, that's when they really stand up.
I see.
Hopefully, it should be one of these ones. It should be one of these stories where they will be able to stand up to the occasion. Yes, it's unthinkable to say that, look, you didn't win in your own backyard. Now you are coming to beat me. You made me beat you, and now you want
And
to come and
Burkina
beat me
Faso
in my
know
own
how
back.
to do this
But-
because they knocked them out in 2017.
well, they did it in
2018.
2017, but I'm saying and look, it will be quite disappointing that we are not able to. For me, I'm just looking at it from the disappointment point of view. That look, on that basis, I think that the team need to go out there. Look, I mean, he that is down needs no fear no fall. I mean, clearly, go out there. You're already down. Go and then play your game. And for me, I think that it depends on the mentality with which they approach this game.
Are you failing to just understand that our level is waffle, or you just?
I actually hope we don't qualify.
No, but I feel like our level is waffle. Like
Yeah. I actually
that's part of the channel. Our level is waffle.
I actually hope we don't
What
qualify.
are you
Final-
doing?
waffle final with
I
them.
hope we don't qualify. For the yes,
Why?
Let me tell you why.
Tell me.
You see, qualifying for tournament tends to give us a certain false sense in the midst of the chaos.
So then you
that
don't want
we
to
are
qualify
enduring.
at all.
You see, sometimes you must become a Manchester United, fall so hard, and realize what you actually are. Then, after that realization, you do what is necessary to rebuild.
It's not like you have realized. You are still realizing. You guys are still.
Well,
No,
but the point I'm making is
Manchester
that
United have realized that.
Have realized they are
down.
down.
well, they will come to that realization soon. Don't worry, if they haven't.
Okay.
But I'm saying that qualifying to
You
this
are correct.
tournament,
Okay.
qualifying for this tournament will do us more harm than good. People are going to talk about, then the players will be active, and the players will be active, and the players will be active. But the reality is that we don't have to qualify so that we realize that indeed our football is actually in shambles, because that is one thing we don't admit.
But that's the thing with football.
Why? Because I'm coming.
They
Why?
can
Because
qualify and go and win this and come back.
and that's essentially why I don't even want us to qualify in the first place. Because in this state we are not supposed to be winning tournament.
That's what
It
we
gives us a
qualify.
false sense that we are in a good place. You see, we have to fall so hard. Said that you remember the conversations
Like,
after
how
the
hard
disaster?
again? We've fallen hard already. AFCON, why was this thing out?
And that's what I was
falling
coming to.
hard.
Look, you remember the conversation after AFCON 2019?
Yeah.
That we need to go back to grassroots football. Until then, we have not realized how low we had sunk. And after going to doing all the talking, what has been done?
Nothing.
Okay, let's fall again, and let's reintroduce the conversation again, because it appears that we've forgotten that we're talking about revamping grassroots football.
Okay.
Let's not qualify again. Let's not qualify for the Olympic Games again. Let's not qualify for any tournament within the next 2 years again, and realize that indeed we are in a very dark place and start to rebuild. Otherwise, we'll keep glossing over the filthy surface.
Okay, so right.
And that's what people talk. Oh, we talk about branding. Oh, it's beautiful, the image.
Andre, you will not agree with
All this, I'm coming. Let me finish. You know cow dung. You know cow dung. It has a beautiful surface. Make the mistake of stepping into it. That is when you are going to
You
realize
see that it's very deep.
fantastic. And that's the situation where we find ourselves. We want to gloss over the surface. Oh, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. But in actual fact, peel off the surface, and you are going to see the maggots. Okay. That Ghana football has been infested with.
Benedict, just a quick one.
You're talking about Andrea.
You come to Andrea, you will not be happy with what he says.
Andrea, you will not be happy with you.
Well, I don't sit here to make Andrea you happy.
Okay, but just a quick one. Benedict, on the motivation ahead of this, because sports ministry seems to be having real money issues at the moment, or funding issues because
you said at the moment. Relax.
Let me make a point. No,
you say at the moment.
I don't know, but
I said at the moment. I want to be clear.
Yes, as I'm speaking.
They always have funding.
This one
is at the moment.
This one, they are owing too many.
Game, this very game this morning, Nabate, Kofi Asare Brackon, who is. Prof. Abate is
secretary to the assistant secretary.
Abate's job is that he must say something, even if there's nothing. He must say something. That's the point.
He
must say something.
No, you are Abate who is
spokesperson
and special aid.
Personal. He says
personal
aid to the sports minister.
Abate must say something.
Abate this morning mentioned that both on TV and on radio that they have paid all the bonuses to the boys from the Wafu. And what's going to happen is even tomorrow, God willing, they are flying out of the country via chartered flight. Then after the game, will come. Which athlete? Doha. Oh, Charlie. But that one too, you were here when he said they
you see, okay, Benedict, I've been in touch. I've been in touch with the athletes.
Yeah.
No money.
Oh. And then what about the tickets for the
tickets for under 23? No money. Now the Wafu, it's okay. So the Wafu too. We have the taxi.
Money from the government. The GA. The GA ministry that they are on.
That's why. I see. But we can't take this out. The ministry has come to say that they are working on it. They have come to say that they'll give money. But because you are not, no. Abate is on
football.
No. Abate has been recorded saying that. But it's a very dangerous position you are taking. Because I don't know.
He's also special aid to me.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Special aid.
He's the special aid to the special aid.
Hans, don't go. Hans is going. He knows the next topic.
Where are you going? We are coming to talk about a certain game.
Let me.
Where are you going?
We are talking about every game.
Hans, wait. Let me just put this one. Like you're making the point. NS is making his own point.
Yes.
Because the ministry says they are working on paying the athletes.
Yes.
The ministry can come out and say that they are not going to pay because of this issue, but they haven't said that. They've spoken about the footballers. They've spoken about the athletes. They've spoken about the under 23. And say they are working on all of that. So the money is not there yet. It doesn't matter. Let them sort it out.
The chief executive officer of the
It's not being recognized by the next government.
But chief,
it's okay.
No, it's the general secretary who is not being recognized. But the chief executive.
But the election that they did was
no. You see,
so let me get this straight. The athletes must suffer because of
they don't recognize
disconnect between the GA and government. Cool story.
No, but you can't even take NS. You can't take NS serious for that. NS is not the sports minister.
Special assistant to the special.
In what capacity are you speaking?
Special assistant to the special assistant.
In what capacity?
No, so allow special assistant to the special aid to the minister. That's the rule.
This is unofficial.
I'm working in the office of the.
So
special assistant to the special assistant.
So just to remind the sports ministry, you're still owing.
They always owe.
And we know that
it's not nice.
It reminds me of.
They'll be back on.
Honorable, please ensure that. Please, this I want to speak directly to the minister. Honorable, with all due respect, pay the girls. It's not nice.
But
see, even if you pay the girls and you don't give us a breakdown, we don't mind. Just pay the girls.
This breakdown matter.
Pay the girls.
Tell about the breakdown expenditure.
Yes.
The breakdown. The next time I'm in this seat, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, the breakdown.
Breakdown. Because 26 July, that
is only next week anyway.
I said 26 July. I didn't say October.
So pay the girls. We'll talk about the breakdown later.
Yeah,
you said you wanted us to talk about something.
5 minutes. There's Liverpool vs Manchester United tomorrow. I mean on Sunday.
No, Hans.
You brag, don't worry.
You know, but just you see, I'm very worried about Liverpool sometimes. Because when you
are not worried about your Chelsea, those Mason Mount and those people,
Chelsea,
Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham and all those small boys, you are not worried about them. You are worried about
Liverpool.
Just you played
our
Chelsea.
front three. Listen,
listen.
this game.
Just you played against
Yes.
Chelsea, Liverpool.
We
and
played
you know that
against
that's
Chelsea.
like
And
the
what
most
happened?
difficult game you have
Oh,
handled
come on.
the
What
whole
happened?
season. Yeah.
What happened?
So Liverpool and Manchester
Yeah,
United.
Awoof Apai. We Awoof Apai. Listen, I mean,
This is what they did, and
I think
and Mourinho beat them by 2 goals.
I think at Old Tafo, you know Old Tafo. Oh, why is he going?
No,
Old
he's-
Tafo.
I'm looking for Abeku's uncle.
Yes,
right?
yes.
There's a song I need to play before we wrap
Yes,
up.
Old Tafo.
Get me Abeku's uncle here.
We are going to go to Old Tafo and then just like we help them sack Mourinho. We might just help them sack Ole, because I mean a lot of them, United fans are tired of Ole. I mean, after the initial nine or 8 game magic that he did for them, which bamboozled all of them, and they gave him a very good contract, juicy contract. Looks like after signing the contract, Charlie, he lost all his mojo, and they now want to find a very nice way of sacking him. So Liverpool will help them this Sunday to sack Ole.
But Ole, sacking Ole, I'm not sure they will.
No, they want to sack Ole.
They said they are backing the manager.
In the morning.
But the problem is when you start backing,
sacked in the morning.
But when you start backing the manager, that means you're about sacking the guy.
Sacked in the morning. You're getting sacked in the morning.
Okay, so
on Monday morning, that is the song that United fans are going to sing to see of Ole.
Hans, we have seen this before.
We
have seen this before.
What have you seen?
We've seen this before. Liverpool cannot get the job done at Old Trafford, even in their whatever form.
Don't worry.
Which form? Last season they were boy and we drew.
Oh, Prof. You see,
And you were blaming the win.
You see me, I didn't even talk.
It's the wind.
You see me, I didn't even talk.
I didn't say don't talk. You could have interjected. It's
No, I don't want to.
It's normal. Go on.
When a man decides to hold a bragging right before the game, you allow him to hold it. The baton will exchange hands.
Next
You understand
week
me?
Will be here. Don't worry.
See, United won't score Liverpool. We'll beat Liverpool.
Okay.
You know the difference between beat and score.
Tell me.
Don't let me even say trash.
You mean
or whitewash
Okay, good.
or annihilate.
You know what? It reminds me of I was listening to.
I was looking for a song. You know the title. You know the title of the song.
What's the song?
If not that car, we'll bury them.
Take it easy.
You know something?
Yeah.
I was listening to the Bishop Darky Ward Mills, and he was preaching about stuff. He said he went.
Forget the preaching.
No, I'm coming. He went.
Forget the preaching. I'm saying.
It's an interesting story.
No,
You just
forget the story. I'm saying the main story is that United is beating Liverpool.
no problem.
Okay.
See,
No problem.
we'll beat Liverpool, and the world will be thrown into a state of
It is very possible.
anarchy
Anna,
and confusion.
Let me do this.
People don't understand.
So Bishop goes to witness to this guy, and he said, "Oh, don't come and worry me." Then Bishop said, "Oh, I'm only coming to share the word." He said, "Look, I'm a guy man. I don't sack. I beat. If you do, I'll beat you."
Okay.
That's
So
what happened to
maybe Hans is just trying to say
that is
they'll beat us.
exactly what will happen
Oh,
to
okay.
Liverpool.
We will see.
Right.
Wait, see who will score the goals. Rashford.
All right, it's okay. Cool.
Was it-
Let me go to the fixtures. Let me go to the
Rashford will
fixtures.
score the goals.
Yes, we've got Everton versus West Ham.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
nice.
Bournemouth versus Norwich. We've got Chelsea versus Newcastle. There's Leicester City versus Burnley. We've
Why
got
did you move
Tottenham
on quickly
Hotspur.
from Chelsea Newcastle?
Because Chelsea's winning that game at the Stamford Bridge. Tottenham Hotspur up against
Bridge,
Watford.
no.
Wolves
Bridge,
are up
no,
against
what, up and
Southampton. Crystal Palace will play Manchester City. And there's Manchester United versus Liverpool with live commentary here on Joy 99.7 FM. I know in Spain, Barcelona will play Eibar and Real Madrid up against Mallorca. And of course, we just touched that the Clásico that was expected to be played next week, Saturday, has been postponed to I think Wednesday, 18th of December. We'll look at how that really goes as well. And there's a big game in France. All these games to chase and catch. We'll give you all the updates on the Sports Arena with Hans. I'm sure you get the opportunity to phone in after the Manchester United Liverpool
won't
game,
beat
and then we'll talk
Liverpool.
about
You see,
it.
what
Yes,
Prof fails to realize is that this game doesn't follow. It makes nonsense of form.
It doesn't follow form guy.
It makes absolute nonsense of form.
Okay, guys, 7
And
seconds.
you mentioned
we
Rashford.
came to beat you.
But you seem to forget, Berbatov came to Anfield and scored a hat-trick. Dimitar Berbatov.
At that time you were on form.
Okay, so
Anthony Martial.
No,
Hans,
on form.
Hans,
Anthony
thank you very
Martial
much.
first game.
Okay, Hans.
He beat the entire Liverpool backline and
Don't
scored.
worry.
All right.
Don't
That time
worry.
you
We
were
are
on
coming
form.
to Old Trafford. We'll come and
Last
show you
season,
that
you were on
we-
form.
No, don't worry. Last season, what happened? You managed to get a draw. That's what it is.
This time
but we are
beat
coming to
All right, Hans, thank you very much. Jesse.
the title of the song. If you know that can.
Exactly.
Kaboom, kaboom.
Hans, thank you very much. Jesse, thank you very much for joining me on the show. It's been great as well. A big thank you to you, Benedict Owusu, for joining me. This has been the first stage. We are still going on with the argument, but it's fine. We are back next week with another lovely edition. Till then, be good.